This carving now, this design is exactly as we've done before, only this time I've left the area free, but put a little line in here just for the bird to sit on. So I'm going to take the paper off and see what we've got. The paper came off easily, and I've gone around and touched up odd little bits that I thought could be improved. So what we're going to do now is model the bird itself and leave the background alone. And this is called Intaglio or relievo carving, a very old technique. So we're going to make some decisions about how we're going to play the bird. It's very flat. It's never going to be a rounded carving, although we could go deeper than I'm going to go now. So the grain direction is in this direction here. We bear that in mind as we're working. Now the sort of decisions we have would be not to do anything. In other words, to leave like an edge like this, square and flat, and round over the top edge here, for example. So that might work. Or round this more over than the back. This neck here could be taken in a little bit, and this could be rounded over. This could be fairly flat here, a little bit cut in here. The body could be rounded over. This sort of thing. We could round it more over here to get the tail to look a little bit twisted this way. We'll see how we get along. The grain is important because I will be using my V tool, and this in some ways is a better tool for this job because I can turn it to one side, like just tilt it, and I could have been carving like this. So I'm already using one face like a chisel to remove wood. Now if I'm doing this, of course I have to go downhill on the cut, because sometimes if we're cutting across the grain like this, if the grain is like this, this side is, we would need to cut it this way and this one this way. You'll see this when I'm carving, but there'll be a degree of using the V tool and then some other tools too that we've got to get some sort of form into this bird. So I put my V tool in the groove that I've already made. I'm going to tilt it over and start removing a little bit of wood here. So that's this side of this. And I can tilt it a little bit more. So although I've got cuts, straight cuts, I'm actually making them curve over. So for example here I could do it a bit over here, like this, on this side. Now one of the things that's going to happen is that we've got to get some of this bird going behind some of the other parts. So here, for example, this leg is actually got to go further back behind this bit of body. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to deepen this cut like this. So picking that up like so. Then going to my flat gouge, I'm going to take this down here. So this leg sinks down just here behind this body here. I can just take that bit of waste out like that. So keep it clean as we go along. So along here I could use this tool upside down. Now see how that's tearing? So that means that I need to come in this direction for that one. So I'll turn it around in a minute, but I can go on this side a little bit. And I'm going to leave this part, the rounded part here, I'm going to leave that untouched. So we're coming up here, and I'm going to come down here on this side of the, and then round this part here where it's a little bit hollowed, I'm going to take this gouge, I'm going to make that a little bit hollowed here. So I'm going to make a little bit more of that than otherwise. So I'm actually just going to make this up a little bit as I go along. What I am inclined to do though is tool over the surface. So once I've carved it, I'm going to go over it and just gently make these cuts like this, so that this whole surface is different from this surface. Okay, so I'm just going to carry on like this. So if I don't use my V tool, I can have this tool upside down like this, and perhaps I go in there a bit to leave a a sharp edge and a rounded edge, and at any time I can go back and just clean that up. So you can use the corner of the gouge to nick out wood, certainly like that, or on this side like this. We're trying to get a nice sharp line as we go along. A little bit here to come out. So this bit's a little bit complicated because this bit of the body goes, of course, behind that leg there. What we might be able to do is use our skew chisel here and just float that across like this. And it's quite good for getting into these sort of corners in here. So now something along the back here, I think. I will swap back to the V-tool. This part of the carving I'm going to leave fairly untouched, I think, this part in the middle, especially that bit, just as I'm not going to do anything with these little circles there. So again, pushing that over, coming down here. Again, we want this to go underneath this body here, so we need to take wood away from this part. So we'll just float this down into there. Tooling the surface. So I keep this one fairly sharp here and more on that side over there, like that. Harden up that edge there. Then with this, the tail here, these parts, these feathers, I think what I'll do is I will do the top parts angled like that, and then keep that edge here square. So I think you can see I'm making this up as I go along. It's a bit like painting, really. We're not sort of fixed with quite what we're doing, just trying to get some sort of sense of how this might work. So in the bottom there, in fact you can see this skew is very good for getting in that part there. And then cleaning that up, that corner. So we'll try and keep it clean as I go along. I think that's quite important, so I can sort of say this bit is finished before I go into another part. I'm going to take some wood from here into the neck. So this is rounding round into the neck a little bit. And I'm going to go up towards this bottom of the bill, the beak here rather. So to clean that up. So some parts of the bird have a deeper wall, if you like, than others. So this is probably a deeper part because it implies that the neck is further back. So there'll be a nice bit of a shadow here. So lots of small cuts, and I can get that surface quite smooth. And then I'll pick this up and come underneath here a little bit. But I rather like this being quite hard, so I'm going to make this edge definitely hard here. So the B-tool might tip this over a little bit. And then the top will round over like so. So I'm going to join this part here across into the bill. I'm not going to do anything about that line there or the eye. I'll leave those as lines. And we're going to come downhill over here. Now it might be that sometimes as we carve these things we lose the line, like we lose it a little bit towards this part here. Put the line back in, you know, over the carving that you've done. So here's the carving finished. It didn't take too long to carve because actually there's only a little bit of wood to take away. What we do have, and what works well for this sort of carving, is a strong outline so that the subject is very clearly defined. I've left a lot of it flat, like these bits here. There's nothing much taken away here. And some parts are deeper than others. Other than that, it's finished, and you can wax it or put on a UV varnish. I'll put some notes in the video details below and in the download as well as how you might like to finish this.